let's move on to our last big matchup of the week. This is one that we added on, and we wanted to talk about specifically just because we thought it was interesting. Um, Oklahoma is a 10-point favorite at Kansas this weekend. I actually, I really like Oklahoma minus 10 here. Uh, we don't even know though if Kansas quarterback is going to even be playing the starting quarterback. It may be Jason Bean again, but
Yeah.
this is a good offense. I think that's where this number stems from. Kansas got a really good offense, but their defense is very, very questionable to me. And Oklahoma's defense has been a benefactor of a lot of turnovers this year, and I think they're going to have a chance to get some more this weekend as Kansas is going to be playing in wounded animal mode at this point, and I think they're going to be, uh, I think they're going to be willing to take some risks in this game at home to try and take down the Oklahoma Sooners in this one. But I just think Oklahoma's too strong here, man. Uh, Kansas has got to be able to limit the run. Guess what? Kansas cannot limit the run. They can't.
Yeah.
And and if Oklahoma can run the football, it's lights out in this game because if they can run it, they can throw it. And Dylan Gabriel can do both himself. So, not necessarily going to take a running back to do so. Oklahoma does have a deficiency at running back. You got majors in there, but I don't think it's like a big platoon of running backs that they trust to put in this game. So I suspect Dylan Gabriel will be toting the rock in this one when need be, with some help from majors. And if Oklahoma can run the ball successfully for about 150 to 175 yards in this game, I think it could be a blowout. Give me Oklahoma minus 10. I like them by 17 in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. When you look at what Oklahoma has been able to do this year, it's been quite the turnaround. It's been what Oklahoma fans were looking for when Venables was hired as head coach. Defensive guy, and it's finally matching up with his resume and kind of his identity. And I say finally, it's only his second season, for Christ's sake. I mean, nobody really goes out there and lights the world on fire their first year, unless you're like Sonny Dykes or something. Uh, but
Yeah.
I agree. This number was, I think it opened up at 10.5 points, and it's come down a little bit, believe it or not. Um, and I, looking at Kansas, I feel like they were really hot early on, and
Those
the
numbers are
uncertain.
tough to look at, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I think the uncertainty at quarterback has caused a little bit of a little bit of you know a little bit of a setback, I guess, for the offense for Kansas, and they're kind of wishy washy on their quarterbacks, and that in practice, which is where players go to get better, right? That has to have an effect. When you
Mhm.
don't have that consistency, you're not able to build that chemistry between the not only the quarterback and the wide receivers, but also just the quarterback with the entire offense who's running the system. Um, that's got to have some effect. If Jalen Daniels comes in and plays this game, right, I think he does give them the best opportunity to win. That's why he's the starting quarterback. However, how many points is that going to be worth? Maybe 4 points.
Yeah. I
Um,
was gonna say an extra field goal
and
maybe.
right, so when you factor that in, if we have Oklahoma at minus 17, well, maybe with Jason Bean, it's minus 14. So I still like Oklahoma to cover in this game. I think it's a bad matchup for Kansas. Um, Kansas wants to run the football, and Oklahoma is not having any of that. They
Yeah.
get after the
Think
quarterback. They're second in the country in tackles for a loss. They've got 65 on
Mhm.
the year. They're getting in the backfield, not only sacking the quarterback, but they're stopping those run plays before they even meet the line of scrimmage. They are wreaking havoc in the backfield. It's causing fumbles in the backfield. So their turnover margin you see is at plus 10. That's good for, I believe, second in the country, if I remember correctly. They're very disruptive, and they're dogs on defense. They're fun to watch. And then offensively, I mean, Dylan Gabriel had a coming out party a couple weeks ago in the Red River Shootout, and didn't look so hot last week against UCF. They had a little bit
Yeah.
of a game plan for him. I think that's fair to say, but he's still a Heisman contending type of quarterback. He's still one of the best in football right now, and he's got some of the most experience in football. And if he wants to, hey, he might go for 100 yards on the ground this game against Kansas. I don't think they're going to ask him to do that, but if he wants to, I think that opportunity will be there as Kansas has been getting gashed as of lately on the ground. So. But nonetheless, I've got Oklahoma to cover. I think -10 is just not enough points. Our Jayhawks are wounded. They've got
Mhm.
a wounded wing, and they're having issues getting up off the ground now. But hey, if they do make it a close game, we'll be here to kind of cheer them on. But I just don't see it. I think that Oklahoma's got too much firepower. They got too much going for them. I think that this is going to end up being a 3-score game when it's all said and done. That being said, I also like the underplay. This over under is at 65.5. Again, going back to that defense for Oklahoma, I think they're going to be able to slow Kansas down a good bit and keep this kind of a low scoring game for Kansas at least, and then kind of winning big for Oklahoma. So I think my final like score prediction would probably be something like Oklahoma 40 and Kansas 21, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I could see 34-17, something around to that effect. I think keys to victory in this game for Kansas is you've got to limit the run plays from Dylan Gabriel, right? Dylan Gabriel does a really good job at keeping this offense for Oklahoma on schedule. That is where this team, I feel like, is in his experience is very key. Um, when they get behind the chains, I think is when they're going to struggle. So, with that being said, Kansas has got to contain him. They're going to have to spy him and trust their secondary to be able to cover while they, you know, use one of the men of their 11 defenders to make sure that Dylan Gabriel is not escaping the pocket and causing trouble and causing third and short situations because this Oklahoma team has been good on third down. Um, they have not allowed a lot of tackles for loss. So Kansas has got to change that trend if they look to win this game. Jalen Daniels has got to play, first of all, I think, if Kansas wants to win this game. They've got to limit Oklahoma's run game and cause Dylan Gabriel to be in obvious passing downs with more than 8 yards to go. That is a big deal in this game. If Kansas can do that, they're going to get enough possessions to where they can score points and get this game a lot closer. Um, if Oklahoma continues to give Kansas opportunities with the football in their hand, Kansas will eventually make them pay because it is a good offense, and that defense will get worn down. That's part of this Lance Leipold system that he's got going at Kansas, and what has rejuvenated really the state of Kansas football program. So, with that being said, I think they probably need to get a couple of turnovers as well to get that done. But got to limit the run, get them in obvious passing downs, and get a couple of turnovers off of that, and then I think we'll have us a ball game here. Uh, but I don't see it going that way. Give me Oklahoma -10. I like them by, I really like them by 14 or 17 this week. Um, that is the last game that we had to talk about. Um, you know, I don't have really anything else other than there's some Michigan news I think that's gonna be breaking, um, probably in the next few days, and I think we'll have a little bit to talk about, but right now, we don't really have any of the facts, just to be honest. So not really gonna comment on that. The NCAA is not gonna do anything till 2024. We'll talk about it before then, but, what right now, I don't think it's really important right now, honestly. Um,
Too much good football to talk about right now.
There's too much good football to talk about for me to be worried about anything to do with conference realignment. You know, some $50,000 a year assistant going to watch other teams play and stuff and film something that literally anybody in the stadium could film and send to their favorite team. Um, you know, furthermore, why does the NCAA not have microphones in the helmets yet? Why? There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. Why are we sending in signs from the sideline? Put it through their helmet, dude. What are we doing? So anyway, I'm sure we're going to get to that news topic at some point. But for right now, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the Week 9 preview and prediction show. We're looking forward to a great Week 9. As I said earlier, please tune in Friday. We've got our Between the Lines segment that's coming up. And your boy here went undefeated last week. So if you want to come make some money with me, please do so. You know where to find us. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Maserati Marcus, and there's Maserati Mason. Have a good night.
Thanks. Have a good night, y'all.